Welcome back, toy diecast car enthusiasts. Today we are looking at a portion of my Hot Wheels collection. This is a collector series that ran from 1995 through to 1998 and encompassed car collector numbers from 275 through to 1121, with many variations recorded for all of those cars. And in today's episode of the Year by Year Hot Wheels, we are looking at collector number 440 through to number 468 for a total of 25 different castings with 55 variations out of 65 variations known to exist for the North American market. That's right, you are going to see 55 out of 65 of all the cars, and I'm going to make mention of things such as which cars are hard to find. So mostly we're just going to look at a whole bunch of really cool Hot Wheels cars and trucks and do a comparison of the variations that you frequently saw back then, which include wheel variations, paint variations, base variations, as well as variations from the 5-packs released of the time and play sets, often featuring similar cars that you could find in the single-pack carded versions, which I also have an assortment of here in the back row. Interestingly, there was quite a bit of artwork change on those card backs in all of the same sort of collector range. Now, given that these cars were released over a few years without sequential collector numbers, that being that the cars weren't released in order of the collector numbers, strangely, very confusing time to collect cars in my opinion, but all the same, it's quite easy now with internet, and hopefully this video will help you put together your collection or assemble it if you already got one. And just a quick note on collecting before we get into the collector series here. I am not a carded car collector. Most often I open the card backs to release the cars for a loose collection, which I display on my Plano display walls in the Diecast Museum, as you can see all around us. For that reason, I'm not going to concern myself too much with the values of these cars, more so just the rarity. Most often the case, there were not too many card back variations of this time period, and certainly not in this collector series. However, I will make mention of the different versions that I have, and the very few that I don't have as far as the cars and their specific variations go. Starting with number 440, the Monte Carlo Stalker. Featured here, one with the gold 7-spoke wheels, and the other with the black 7-spoke wheels and Goodyear tires. And now we are going to look at what Hot Wheels called the Chevy Stalker, an older version of a Monte Carlo stock car, and here it is in black enamel with 7 spokes, formerly released in 1989 with Blackwall wheels, which of course, as we saw, could also be found on the Hot Wheel 5-pack from 1994, some carryovers of the oversupply of those cars. And they may also have been found in the Blue Card series from 1990 through 1994. And there's only one variation known to exist on the card backs, that's being the 7-spoke, fairly easy to find. Which brings us to our next car, collector number 442, the Ferrari F40. Here in a metallic pearlescent white with the opening rear engine cowling showing an engine. I have the 5-spoke and 5-dot, as well as the harder to find 7-spoke version here on the card back. Number 443 is the Ferrari 348 in metallic black with a black plastic base, 5-spoke wheels, 7-spoke wheels, or the 5-dot wheels as they're known. All are about equally hard to find, which is not all that hard. Then we have the Aero Flash, collector number 444 with the gold 7-spoke wheels. This car is a very good car on the racetrack and fairly easy to find. That brings us to the Jaguar, also known as Jaguar XJ220, which is its official name by Jaguar. Here we have a 5-spoke version, as well as the 7-spoke version, which is much harder to find. And these are just green pearlescent metallic paint, silver interior, and black plastic base. Number 446 is the 32 Ford Delivery, featuring 7-spoke wheels here. Also a variation that exists with 3-spoke wheels, and this car was commonly released with Blackwall wheels in years prior, as well as on the Hot Wheels 5-pack playset cars. Here we have an example of that car, as well as a 7-spoke car that you just saw. Both these packages circa 1993 through to about 1995. And now collector number 447, the Corvette split window, also known as the 63 Corvette Stingray, found also in the 5-pack with 5 spokes. What we just saw was a 7-spoke before that with a chrome base. And here is a chrome base 5-spoke, chrome base 3-spoke. And the reason why I'm mentioning the chrome base is because this car also came with an unchromed gray plastic base, 7-spoke, and several other variations which I do not have. And now the 67 Camaro. Very nice casting with a metal base, opening hood, revealing a detailed engine underneath. There are 4 variations of this car, of which I have 1. Many of the variations are just base variations and minor paint details, but there is a 5 dot that I'm missing. And here we have the Camaro Z28. 2 of 2 variations known, 3-spoke and 5-spoke. Also, this car was released extensively in years previous, with many different base variations, as well as this variation featuring Blackwall wheels. And that 5-pack from around 1994 or 1995. And over to the Corvette Stingray, collector number 450, featuring the hard-to-find 7-spoke wheels. I have one with 5-spoke wheels still on the card back. And there is also a 3-spoke variation to be found. Number 451 is the 3-window 34. Really cool little casting here with a bright neon pink body, pink plastic fenders, metal base, and either 3-spoke or 7-spoke wheels. Again, this car was released in years prior, as we can see on the gift packs, featuring either the 7 spokes that you just saw or Blackwall wheels. And check out how dark pink the engine and grille portion of this car is versus the other 3 that we've looked at. There's quite a difference there, which I have not seen mention made of in any documentation that I have found. Just a personal observation of the cars that I am collecting. And now Ferrari 250 in metallic green, 7-spoke version here. 5 dot, white 5 dot I should say, which probably came from a 5-car pack and not an individual pack, as I don't see any records of that one existing, such as the chrome 5 dot did here in the collector number 452 packaging. And there was 2 other variations, I believe, maybe including a 5-spoke, which I do not have. Collector number 453 is the Audi Avis, also known as the Avis Quattro. The name change was reflected on the card backs of the individual cars. I have a 7-spoke loose, as well as one in a 5-car pack. Should be about the same. 5-spoke version was also sold individually, and also individually on the card back I have the I believe that's the tri-blade wheel variation. Collector number 454 is the Zender Fact 4 in pearl white. There was also a 5-spoke variation which was sold individually and found in the 5-car gift pack. Super Show cars. Collector number 455 is the 65 Mustang convertible here in metallic gold. Metal base and an opening hood, as these cars typically had prior to the recasting in the late 2000s. Here it is with 5-spoke wheels. And also under the same collector number, the same car, but with a dark blue enamel paint job and everything else being the same. This car could also be found with 7-spoke wheels and a gold paint job, not pictured. Pontiac Banshee, 3 variations known to exist. Black with the 5-spoke wheels, neon yellow interior, and under the same collector number, which was 457, we have the purple version, black interior, metal base. And here on the package is the hardest car to find of the 3, featuring the BBS wheels, otherwise the same as the black version with 5-spoke. Collector number 458 was the Speed Shark. Then we have the Zombot, an interesting car that can be stood on its back bumper, or in this case, the Zombot's feet, robot's feet. I don't know why they called it a Zombot, but anyways. Then we have the Enforcer. These cars all only had one variation each. And the 80s Firebird in metallic dark pearlescent blue with 5-spoke. Also found on collector number 462 cardback with the BBS wheels. Collector number 463 was the Pontiac Fiero 2M4 featuring a black metal base and a yellow painted body. 5-spoke wheels or BBS wheels were found. On to the Chevy Blazer with opening doors and a metal base. This really cool truck casting had either the construction tire wheels, designated CT, or the construction tire with studs wheels, CTS. The CTS wheel variation is twice as hard to find as the CT wheel variation. And now on to the Peugeot 405. I have 2 of the 3 variations. Same collector number with entirely different paint jobs and base colors. Here we have it in a dark emerald green with 5 spokes, gray interior, black plastic base, and the same car. Well, you can see it is quite different. The one I'm missing has 5-spoke wheels and the silver paint job. The final car of the bunch is collector number 468. That is the GT Racer. There were 4 variations, all of which are equally fairly easy to find, and were often used in playset racing as they are very heavy and aerodynamic. We have the pearlescent gold version, metal base of course, 5-spoke wheels, and then these neon fluorescent orange versions with either BBS wheels, 5-spoke wheels, or 5-spoke wheels with logo on rear spoiler and no side tampos. Now there were several car collector numbers missing in case you were keeping track of the numbers and wondering where they were. There was no collector number 456 or 459, no collector number 465 or 466. And the reasons for why Mattel did not have cars for those collector numbers has never been completely honestly known as far as I can tell. However, many people have their hypothesis as to why that was. And that is the entire selection of vehicles. Well, if you're after any of these cars, happy hunting. I hope you enjoyed the video.